The Witch Files, a new movie about 5 young ladies who meet in detention, and one of them showcases her amazing witchcraft spell ability by setting off the fire drill. And then they have to evacuate, so they got out of detention via witchcraft. Very powerful indeed. And of course, the other 4 girls are super interested and want powers as well. They believe that this other young lady is a witch, and they agree to meet at midnight at a secret place where witches were executed back in the days in ancient times, when the witches really existed and they were real. So after doing a ritual in the woods, they all seem to develop powers, one by one, slowly at a time. First, quite just little hints of powers that they have to actually access by doing spells together. Then they kind of empower on their own, and they can all do things by themselves. They don't need the power of the coven or the group. The powers begin to intensify, but with the powers comes consequence. And the consequence is all of them start getting like symptoms of old age. One of them seems to be going blind. The other one gets like this ugly wart. Another one is very, very fragile and keeps losing her teeth, and her teeth keep getting knocked out. One of them gets hot flashes. Oh, God forbid, hot flashes. Needless to say that with power comes consequence, and something is going wrong. So the girls need to figure out what exactly is happening before they all end up either old hags or worse, dead. That is basically this movie in a nutshell. When I saw the trailer, I kind of thought it might be... I was really in the mood for something like this. I have to be in the mood. Usually, I'm only into really creepy things, really scary horror type movies. Occasionally thrillers. And sometimes comedy. Sometimes I'm in a cheesy mood. And I was born in the 80s, so I grew up with all of those cheesy 90 movies like The Craft. I love all those movies to this day. They're part of my collection, and I still rewatch them. Absolutely love them. This kind of reminded me of The Craft mixed with Chronicle, because it is a found footage type film. It's in the found footage format throughout the film, and the girls take turns obviously recording, and sometimes we're even treated to recordings of street cameras and things like that. Needless to say, the majority of the film is all via handheld camera of some sort. Someone's recording somewhere. Does it work? Not really. I don't think it was very necessary. I kind of even felt like this was like a remake of The Craft, because they were talking about remaking The Craft. I keep reading about it. Like I have to admit, I love the original Craft film. I don't know. It's the nostalgia. It's very nostalgic for me. Maybe it's just because I grew up in that period of time. I don't know if I'd like it as much outside of that time. I don't know. Either way, I'm a big fan of The Craft. I love that film. And I'm glad this wasn't a remake, because this was not only nothing like The Craft, it just was missing something. And one of the main things about the movie that's evident very, very clearly is its demographic is for the very young, teen age, and probably even a little bit younger than teen. It's definitely not an adult movie. The demographic is definitely from teen and below, for younger children. I think anyway, at least around the high school age, and sort of children coming into the high school age gap there. It's definitely not adult, and definitely doesn't fit my demographic from my tastes in films. Having said that, it wasn't like a terrible watch. It was definitely something you can sit down, have a few drinks with your friends or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And if you're just after something a little cheesy, if you really like witchcraft and you're into witches, then you're probably going to have to see this regardless. You might as well go watch it. But if you're expecting something that rivals The Craft or Spellbinder, which is an amazing witch movie that I really love, one of my all-time favourites, you're going to be disappointed. It's definitely not that good. Character development, you don't really care about any of these characters throughout the film. And of course, the climax, very predictable and definitely unoriginal. I wasn't really a fan of the end. Could see it coming a mile away, and the writing in general, I think, was quite poor. It's shot very nicely. A lot of the scenes are shot, they're very well lit up. The lighting's amazing. Didn't probably necessarily have to be a found footage type movie, but it doesn't really bother me either way. There was definitely a lot of scenes that were shot terrifically. The acting, mediocre. I think they're all unknowns. Like, you can tolerate the acting. It doesn't have to be sort of, Christian Bale in The Machinist, losing £200 or whatever. It's like, it's a teen movie, and it's convincing enough for a teen film. You know, usually I only review like horror type films because that's my preferred genre, but I want to mix it up a bit, and as I go through watching movies, I want to just interact with everyone and just share what I've been watching, regardless of what it is. I'll definitely be honest in my reviews, and hopefully I can give you guys and gals out there a bit of a heads up, and you can decide if you want to watch things yourself. Definitely a good one here to watch with a girlfriend or boyfriend, having a few drinks and just a cozy night in, watching something cheesy and teeny, and if you really love witches, then just go out and see it, see what you think. I'm pretty confident that you will agree with me. So, on my evil scale of 13, I'll give The Witch Files a 6. I was kind of thinking 5, but it's not really. Like, 5 is a little bit low when it's out of 13. 6 is sort of like nearly halfway there, and it can be quite enjoyable. Like, there aren't any moments where you're like, whoa, I'm going to have to watch this again. Nothing like that. It's definitely a very forgettable film, but worth watching once, especially if you're into witchcraft and witches and the supernatural. But just keep in mind, it's very teeny and almost sort of more suitable for children. So nice, quick, easy review, straight to the point. I really enjoyed doing this video, to be honest. I've got to do more movie reviews. If you want to see more movie reviews, it's very important to give me a thumbs up and a comment down below, so that way I feel motivated. Otherwise, I'm just going to play Diablo and keep doing those types of videos. So, make sure that you interact with your creepy damn uncle. Let me know what you want to see. Before I let you go, I'm just going to quickly talk about spoilers. There really isn't much to talk about here, but for those of you that don't want to watch this and you're just kind of on the edge of your seat thinking, well, I wonder what happens. Like, do they die? Do they turn into old witch hags? What happens? I know that you're thinking this. I know you are. If you do want to watch it and you don't want to know about the spoilers, then I suggest you close the window now. You've got your score. You've got my opinion. I've told you everything you need to know about the movie. Just go and watch it now. However, if you don't want to watch it or you've already seen it and you want to stick around for the spoilers, here they are. Jules, the girl at the start that actually introduces the other girls to witchcraft and sets off the alarm bell, and the one that actually probably looks like a witch out of all of them. The other ones really don't look very witchy for me, but understandably they're drawn into the witchcraft stuff anyway. But this one, Jules, does look like a witch, I must admit. And at the beginning of the movie, I was actually kind of enthusiastic that this might actually rival something like The Craft. It started off okay, like Jules really gave me that witch vibe and everything, and it could have gone any way from there. Unfortunately, it doesn't really go anywhere, and Jules, the whole time, it turns out that she was setting up the other girls so that she can live on forever, because she's apparently 300 plus years old, and in order for her not to turn into this old hag that's, probably going to turn to dust right before our eyes, she has to sacrifice girls and empower herself with their energy force. And the only way to do that is to get them into the witchcraft, and she casts some sort of spell, so it gives them some illusionary powers, but what's really happening is she's sucking away their life force, their energies. And of course, her plan is foiled by the other girls. They end up victorious. They banish Jules forever. The end. Go out and see this if you really must. If witches are really your thing and you just have to, and you like teeny stuff, go watch it. It's not a problem. I did my best to give an unbiased review. It is quite enjoyable, and I do like cheesy type teeny movies as well. However, I think this one could have been a hell of a lot better. They should have took some more time, really focused on the writing a bit better. The camera work and the way it was shot was pretty nice, but it just definitely misses its mark in a lot of areas. So totally up to you if you want to go watch it, and don't forget to leave me a comment and a like if you want to see more movie reviews, especially horror. That'll be coming your way. Until then, you can always subscribe if you missed me a lot. Otherwise, just come back and visit your creepy damn uncle.